Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now, today, as you can no doubt tell by the title on the video, I want to talk about why Battlefield 3 is much, much worse than what all of the reviewers, all of the big gaming sites. I just want to explain why Battlefield 3 is not as good. Now, I want to clear up a few things before I get started properly. One, I am not a COD fanboy. I don't enjoy COD whatsoever. I don't really care for the franchise whatsoever. I do care for the Battlefield franchise because it has a lot of potential. Number two, I do not want to incur any hatred from the internet. And essentially, I'm not here to basically troll. These are my genuine opinions, and I will try to put as much logic behind each point as possible. Hope I said that right. And number three, this kind of light that's going on my face, that's because I've got my computer here for reference, because I've never been very good at talking for immense amounts of time. So I've got this little thing here just to, in general, help. Anyway, so let's get started with the top reasons for me why Battlefield 3 just isn't up to scratch. Okay, so number one, on the actual multiplayer, the jets. Complete and utter rubbish addition. Now, I understand that perhaps jets were, in previous Battlefield games, I have only played Battlefield Bad Company 2, and I played for hours and hours and hours and months on end, non-stop. I just loved that game beyond belief. And when Battlefield 3 came out, I was all hyped. Then I got online. First match I played, nothing was happening. We were losing, we were getting our arse kicked on my team. I was going, what? What's going on? What? Why am I vastly outnumbered? Where are my teammates? Usually I've got teammates here. Help! It turns out that every single last one of them only wanted to get into the jets. You will get entire teams camping the jets. Because apparently there's something magnificent about flying about and getting shot down within 5 minutes. Hell, getting shot at whilst you're actually taking off. It's, in general, a bad idea. Jets. Now, I do respect the Battlefield series. However, I have only played the Battlefield Bad Company series. And I don't know if it's traditional for the original Battlefields to include jets, but in general it's not a good addition. Okay? Battlefield 3 suffers immensely from that, and in general it's just not entertaining, to fly a jet even, because you will have these people that have spent far too long in the jets, gotten all of the upgrades, and will simply shoot you down before you even get a chance. And in general, you're not a help to the team. Now, of course, the counteract to that is that it's supposed to be a good support role. It's not. It really isn't. You're supposed to be able to do bombing runs and, do that kind of plane action where you're going along, and you're shooting the ground, and it's supposed to be really quite cool. Like how you see in the movies, like Indiana Jones. I've seen a couple of those, and that doesn't happen. Because if you even try that, you will crash into a building, crash into the ground, crash into a tree. Okay, if you just hit one leaf, bleh, you're dead. And in general, that's just a disappointment. You're not helping your team, and it's a major distraction. Okay, let me see. yeah, in general, I think that jets should be removed in the next installment. Now, of course, that is up to the developers. I'm not demanding that it happens. I'm only one person, okay? But I'm trying to make sense of this, okay? Now, the second thing is the map design. Now, I have major gripe with the map design. Overall, the map design is terrible, in my opinion. It encourages camping, unfair play with rocket launchers, and several other things. And really, each one is supposed to be offering new tactics, but it's just not enjoyable because really it's hard to specialize in any of the maps because it's too frequent for everything to be changing, with the campers and of course the unfair play from rocket launchers. And that's not to say that I dislike the destruction physics, because of course I loved Battlefield Bad Company 2. You could take down an entire building in that. I'll get onto that later. Now, overall, there are a lot more maps, but really I preferred the way the Battlefield Bad Company 2 was. They didn't have an awful lot of maps, but they were really, really well made. They made sure that there were virtually no spaces for camping, and if there ever were, then it was very easy to just go bang. So yeah. Now, the next thing, of course, has incurred a lot of attention from many people. Flashlights and lasers for your guns. Now, the simple fact that this is a massive griefing tool is fairly obvious because of the fact that, well, it's just unfair. You are blinded immediately. Yes, you can basically just shoot at the middle of the light, but do you know how hard that is actually? Because really, for me, I tend to get rather involved in games. You know, like I will have my eyes on the screen, and basically the brightness changes actually, will affect my eyes, like many people. But I think that really I've got a slightly more serious condition. Anyway, so really it's just irritating, and I hate it. It should never have been thought up, and the person who thought of it should really be fired. I know that seems extreme, but yeah. It doesn't matter if they nerf it, if they keep it in the game, then that's a poor addition. A very, very bad addition. Because Battlefield Bad Company 2, their previous game, doesn't have that. And it benefits from not having that. Okay, next up, the actual team play. What is supposed to be the core mechanic in Battlefield. Battlefield Bad Company 2 encouraged team gameplay to the point where, it was almost ridiculous. You were almost overpowered if you were in a team working together. You had that party of 4 guys, okay, I always liked the recon class. I was always a bit of a sniper. I was always a very effective sniper, as a matter of fact. I wasn't a bushwookie. And usually we would have 1 or 2 medics, but of course whenever I was working in the team, I would always say, no machine guns, none whatsoever. And then there's the assault class, which is basically your standard affair. I've got grenade launcher and I can do stuff. And the engineer. Now, a lot of, which is supposed to be, dealing with tanks and so on. Now, a lot of changes have been made to the classes themselves. Some good, some excruciatingly bad. Very, very, very bad. And in general, the game suffers. Team play seems to basically be non-existent in Battlefield 3. I have never gone online and found guys willing to work with me because it's a Call of Duty fan base that they have aroused. Now, I will get onto that point later, alright? Now, oh yeah, actually, no, I will bring it up now. Why would you advertise in such an immense way? I understand you're a big company. You want to be raking in the money. You want to be doing that. That's very important. But why advertise like that? In Battlefield Bad Company 2, a far superior game, you always put in the idea of teamwork. Okay, we are a squad. That is what makes us strong. The squad is stronger than the sum of its parts. And really, you attracted COD fans. Why would you do that? That is an atrocious idea. Battlefield Bad Company 2 was this little diamond in the rough. It was just so great. I understand wanting to spread the word in that. But really, the better idea is to attract fans slowly. Not say, we are the Call of Duty killer. You must play our game. Why? You are attracting these COD fans that know nothing more than KD. Alright, I got a stupid little 360 no-scope high dive. Really? Really? Anyway. Okay. The next point is like being stabbed, not in the heart, but in the balls. Okay? It is that sore. Snipers. How could you insult that kind of playstyle like that? Nerfing snipers like that. I understand, yes, the sniper class was slightly overpowered. Okay, but I always make it a rule, as being called the honourable gamer, to play fair. To always make sure that my enemies still had a chance. Because that's where challenge comes from. And that's why I like to play games. To get challenged and have fun. And snipers. Yes, they were overpowered. No, they shouldn't really have had that many explosives. Okay? But really, my idea for the formula would have been get rid of that mortar ability. And for the C4, perhaps make it slightly less deadly and give the snipers, you know, like, I don't know, 2 charges instead of like 3. And instead of having that extra explosives perk giving you 6, you had like an extra 1. You know, because that could be useful. You know, it was very fun setting up traps. What I liked to do was I snuck behind the enemy base. I planted 2 satchel charges on the rear of a tank. I just stood back, waited a second. Someone would spawn, charge into that tank, kablooey, kabanga. It would go just absolutely everywhere. The tank would blow up. I would get points. That wasn't really what made me feel proud about doing that. What made me feel proud in doing that was the fact that I was keeping those tanks out of the way of my team. And my teammates would find the battle easier. And in a way, I stopped any unfortunate circumstances where there was a lack of engineers. And yeah. Okay, the next point is that the snipers... What is up with the sniper rifles?